Today's making sense question. How do I automate my 1099 filing process? Clearly, in today's day and age, bookkeeping and just the internet and software as a service applications, efficiency, reigns king. What is my ROI? How do I automate everything? There are certain nuances and processes and workflows that you can follow to help automate your 1099 process. Number one, the biggest aspect up front is just ensuring you have a good bookkeeping system in place, right? So when you pay people, making sure that you automatically or you tag vendors properly in the bookkeeping system that you paid this person, it hits this specific account and its dollar amounts. Number one, just doing proper proactive bookkeeping. Number two is that before you ever pay them, get their IRS W-9 form. W-9 is basically the form that puts their either legal name, business name or personal name if they're getting paid that way, their tax ID, social security number, FEIN, and then their address. So you can then get that information, enter it into their vendor file that then helps generate the workflow to basically 1099 them at year end. And then number three, account for all the payments consistently and proactively in your system, right? So that's kind of, the nuts and bolts of just high level. Two main things you can do to really automate once you get to that point. Number one is, if you use something like QuickBooks Online, they integrate with 1099 softwares that then can help like automatically file, send the 1099 to the person via email or mail them the 1099 automatically. The one that we use at Accountfully is Track 1099. So basically, once we have all the data in QuickBooks Online properly set up and reviewed, we then importing a Track 1099, confirm the data in there, confirm the dollar amounts, and then go e-file. E-files with the IRS, e-files with the relevant states it needs to, emails or mails the 1099 to the vendor that's getting 1099 and goes through that process. If there's any errors or flags that come up, it flags it, boom, hey, you need to get your address is wrong. The tax ID is wrong. The IRS didn't accept it for whatever reason, right? So then you can kind of follow that process. So it really helps automate that situation. So using a system like that really helps versus the old way of manually creating a 1099 and deal with that. The other way to help really automate 1099s are for those contractors that you pay consistently like an employee and they don't send you invoices, right? Kind of where it's ad hoc payments. It's really nice to set them up in a payroll system like Gusto. And even like a PEO system, like a lot of our clients use JustWorks, because you can set them up as a vendor in there. They can then, get invited like an employee would, enter in their tax ID, their bank account for direct deposit, their address, legal name, etc. So all that W-9 information is already in those systems. And then as long as you pay them the entire year through those systems, they basically automatically file those 1099s with that vendor or contractor as well with the IRS. So it really helps automate that. So there is systems like that you can use. But again, the key is just overall consistency of use of those systems, making sure you're properly getting the information before you ever pay anybody, and then keeping up on them at the end of the year, doing a thorough review process and doing it basically, in early January versus the last day of January when they're doing January 31st. So I hope that, helped you out in terms of, identifying or thinking through various processes or systems you can do to help automate 1099s. Last thing, clearly, a ton of bookkeepers, accounting firms can help you with that, your tax, CPA, et cetera. The key is now is a lot of people are just backed up and busy. So just if you need help with 1099s, a really good process is getting involved, 3 to 6 months before year end to then make sure your bookkeeping squared away, everything is good to go. There's a thorough W-9 review process on all the 1099 contractors, and then that firm can support you through January. So hope you learned a few things today. That was a lot of information, but really appreciate you listening to Making Sense.